Hey guys, Justin here. I was scrolling through YouTube the other day and I realized I watch a lot of pickups videos, but I've never actually done one. So today, this is my first gaming pickups video. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, a couple of PlayStation games. One I'm having a really good time with, one I haven't quite gotten to yet, but I'm really excited about. So the first one here, Stellar Blade. Everybody's been talking about this for the last month or so. I didn't originally think this was going to be a game for me, but it really is. So putting aside the character model controversy and some of the other censorship stuff, just putting all that aside for a second, the game itself is fantastic. I've seen a lot of people comparing it to Bayonetta, I've seen some Devil May Cry, and those both make a lot of sense to me. But as I'm playing through Stellar Blade, there's another game that keeps popping up in my head over and over and over. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Stellar Blade's action, SMT5 is turn-based, I get the combat is very different, but the actual exploration, the level design, a lot of that really reminds me of each other. Some of that makes sense, right? You have like the post-apocalyptic cities and you have the desert spaces, but even just the way that things are hidden throughout them, the collectathon stuff. Anyway, I really loved SMT5 and just playing through Stellar Blade, I was like, man, I feel like I need to go back and play SMT again. I'm about 20, maybe 25 hours into Stellar Blade, and I get that you could completely finish the game in that amount of time. I'm just taking my time with it. I'm really checking every single corner of the map. I'm trying to track down all the optional bosses, but also, I'm looking for the costume upgrades and just taking the opportunity to kill as many enemies as I can so that I can fill out my skill tree. The skill tree is one of my favorite things about this game. It really opens the game up as you start unlocking these things. I actually found that the demo was probably the hardest part of the game for me because you don't have any of the upgrades yet. But you start unlocking new moves and building your character, and the game for me really opened up and got a lot more fun. I'm having a great time with it. Again, I don't want to rush to the end. I don't want this experience to be over, and I would recommend it to anybody. All right, I've got another PlayStation game that I haven't even played yet, but as soon as it came out, I knew I had to get it, and that's Sandland. Sandland came out of nowhere for me. I mean, I knew that it was a manga, I knew that it was Toriyama, but I had no idea they were making a game based on it. So when I saw it and started seeing some of the reviews come in, I had to get it. It looks amazing. There's so much you can do in this game. I can't wait to dive into Sandland. It's probably going to be a little while for me. I want to finish Stellar Blade first. It's kind of like that with me with the PlayStation. Like on the Switch, I'm going back and forth between games all the time, but on the PlayStation, it's like, this is the single disc that's in there. I don't want to get up and change it, so I'm going to play through that game until it's completely done. Anyway, that's been my philosophy with the PlayStation for some reason. All right, moving on to some Switch stuff. I finally got Persona 4 Golden for the Switch from Limited Run I guess it was like a week ago. I'm really happy to have a physical copy of this on the Switch. I've got the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. But this one I'm gonna leave in shrink wrap because I've started playing this game when it came out on Steam. That's the thing about Limited Run, it just takes so long for the games to actually get here. I usually buy a digital copy and then the physical just stays in the wrapper. But anyway, I've got it. All right, next up. At the time of recording at least, this game has just come out. Reviews haven't been that great for it, but it's Endless Ocean Luminous. Now, I was a little unsure about this game, but something about these underwater exploration games I find really relaxing. So I was interested. And I'm also on a mission to find all of the Nintendo published Switch games and have a physical copy of them. There are more than you think. I'll do a video on that someday. So I'm missing like maybe 3 or 4 now. And so anyway, I had to get this one. This one was on my list. All right, next up is another Switch thing, but not a game. So do you know those games that are really like time capsule games for you? That's what I call them. the games that you play, and like they are truly like a time and place for you. When you play them, you go right back to wherever you were when you played it the first time. There are a few games like that for me. The first Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, Super Mario 64, the first time I played that. Like anytime I start up those games, I go right back to where I was the first time I played them. Well, I thought, a lot of that's just nostalgia. That's just, being a kid and getting a new game, right? Well, something weird happened last year with Super Mario Wonder. For me now, Super Mario Wonder has become one of those time capsule games. So Wonder came out a few days before my son was born. And I remember playing it a lot, leading up to him being born, the few nights right before we went into the hospital. I remember playing it in the hospital right before my wife went into labor. I remember playing it while he was napping after we brought him home. So like for me, when I think about Super Mario Wonder now, or I pick it up and play a few levels, like I am taken back to that time in my life. It's really a weird flashback thing that I didn't think I was gonna have with a game anymore. And so when he's a little older, I'll tell him about that, and maybe we can play Super Mario Wonder together. But the pickup was actually the elephant plush. I imported it from PlayAsia, and it's just awesome. I bought it for him. I'll give it to him when he's a little bit older. But it's just, the kind of thing I like to get, like a figure or a plush or something. The kind of thing I like to get for games that really mean a lot to me after I finish them. And I just didn't expect a 2D Mario game to impact me like that one did, but it really did, and I'm really happy to have this plush. All right, so that's it for the new stuff. Everything else is sort of retro, or at least retro-inspired. So compared to 2023, 2024 has been a little bit of a gaming lull. Yeah, we've had some really big releases, but some slow periods too. So in one of those slow periods earlier this year, I decided that I was going to play through the entire Xenosaga series. I had gotten into the first one a few times, but never really thrown myself into it. So that's what I decided to do. Played through the entire series and loved it. It was fantastic. It's that 3D turn-based, PlayStation 2 era RPG that I really like. I love that era of RPGs. So I played through them back to back to back. It was a really great experience. Finished the third one on Easter actually. So if you've played those games, you can understand why that's really interesting. What everybody says is true. The first one is the favorite. The second one is the worst. It's okay. But the third one is the best game in the series. So anyway, this pickup is not about the game itself. The pickup is about a couple of things. So one, this Cosmos figure that I picked up. Again, like I said about the plush, I like to buy physical things to represent big games for me. And this was one for me, so she sits on my desk. And then the other thing, I realized that there was a Xenosaga anime. So I picked it up. It's only 12 episodes and it moves really quickly. 12 episodes only get you through really the first game. You don't get into the second game, you don't get into the third game. So there's a lot missing here, but the animation I thought was really good. Voice acting, not great. I don't know, I'm just enjoying getting the Xenosaga story again in a different medium. If there's an anime version of a game, I usually try to check it out just to see how it is. This one, if you are a fan of Xenosaga and you haven't seen the animation yet, I would definitely recommend picking this up. In other episodes, I've talked about how the Switch was revolutionary for me. Being able to go from your TV to handheld and back in a snap really blew my mind at the time, and it got me back into gaming. I played a lot of games when I was growing up, but especially for Nintendo, during the Wii and Wii U era, I was kind of out. So it was the Switch that brought me back. So since then, handheld gaming has been really important to me. So I've been keeping up with some of the new handhelds that are coming out online and finally decided to pick one up. So this one is the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. It's a little smaller than the Nintendo Switch Lite and it doesn't have the offset sticks. So it can be a little uncomfortable to play, but in general for just pick up and play stuff, this has been awesome for me. And to make it a little more comfortable, I did buy Retroid's grip for it. It's made out of like a plasticky kind of rubber material. And the thing that I love about it is it goes in and out so easily. And it just feels like it's part of the console. So it makes it a little easier to hold for me. It's not quite as cramped, I guess. Anyway, I've been playing through a lot of PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and GameCube games on this because it's just so easy. You know, these are games that have been on my shelf or in a box for decades, and it's such a hassle to take out my GameCube, you know, plug it in, whatever. But with this, it's just pick up and play. You know, I can be right into Wind Waker in 30 seconds. It's really amazing, and I am really excited about this. I take it basically everywhere with me. All right, I've got one more thing, and it's a pickup that I hope will be the first of a few more pickups. So what I've decided to do is go after a few select Nintendo powers. Like the ones that are, again, about the games that I really care about. I don't want to collect them all, it's not a big deal to me. But having a physical copy of some of these Nintendo powers, I think is just really cool to have on the shelf and to flip through. So this is the first one that I've picked up in this, you know, attempt to get a lot of the good ones. So this one's for Super Mario World. So the cover itself is showing some age, but actually the pages themselves look fantastic. The color's great. For me, it's just a nostalgic trip. I didn't have a subscription to Nintendo Power, but I would pick one up occasionally, and just flipping through this it's bringing back a lot of memories. And just thinking about, like, this is the way people used to learn about games. It's really cool to go back and flip through, you know, these sorts of magazines and see maps of levels and little secrets, but also just the little illustrations that they did between game images. It's just an amazing level of detail that we don't really get in the same way today. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Obviously we have access to so much more information, and we're not limited to just what Nintendo wants us to know about through Nintendo Power, but there's something I miss about these days. You know, just picking up a magazine, flipping through it, learning about, I don't know, for example, the blockless challenge in Super Mario World. Justin from the future here. I just got back from a new retro game store right here in my hometown. It's called Play to Win Games. I'd never been in there before. It was really awesome. Picked up a new Super Nintendo controller because mine is broken. But the other big thing I picked up, I wasn't expecting to pick up, was a copy of Xenogears, a really clean copy of Xenogears. This is probably the best condition I've ever seen this game, like, out in the wild. You know, the crazy thing is, I don't even have a PlayStation that I can play this on right now. My PlayStation 3 is busted and needs to be repaired. I don't know what happened to my PS1. That was so long ago. And I've just been using my, like, big fat PS3 for a really long time to play PS1, PS2 games. So I'm gonna need to pick up, like, maybe one of those mini PS1s. That would look pretty good on this little CRT I've got here. I'm really excited about this. I've never actually owned a copy of Xenogears. I just used to borrow it from friends or rent it back in the day. So I'm really stoked about this, and the condition it's in is just incredible. I'll try to get a close up here so you can see what the actual manual and stuff looks like. But this is so sick. I really love pickups videos. I get so many ideas about what to play next from watching videos like these, but also from reading comments on videos like this. So in the comments below, let everybody know, have you picked up anything new lately? Are you picking up some retro stuff that everybody should check out? Let us know in the comments below. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.